Welcome to the Big Talks podcast, where real conversations spark bold vision. From real estate and legacy to faith, business, and the hunt for something more, we dive deep with guests from all walks of life. No fluff, just real talk to help you build a life and legacy that matters. All right. Well, hey, everyone. Welcome to the Big Talks podcast. This is my guest, Laura Thompson, Hello. Laura Thompson, operating principal of Keller Williams Fox Cities. Want to tell them a little bit about yourself?
Well, that's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, she's been, when did you officially start being the operating principal?
I think it's been a whirlwind. So 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. Right after I left.
Yeah. I remember it vividly. It scarred me for life.
Well, I know when we got coffee, and I've told other people this too, it's like, if I would have known, I don't know if I would have left.
I heard that a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know if people are just trying to boost my ego back up.
Well, it was just a time of Keller Williams. I mean, it's totally different now, but it was just a time where, I know we've talked about this, but the office was going through some changes, and the beginning of the positive was you getting hired, I think. So yeah.
Well, thank you.
Oh, heart.
Still broke my heart.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, but yeah. Do you want to tell everybody a little bit about yourself, kind of your background story, and how you? I know, like when we originally met almost 10 years ago, coming up on 10 years ago, because it was like probably January-ish, February-ish, 2016.
Yep.
So if you wanted to start even before that, go
Sure.
for it. Kind of where you grew up and.
Okay. Yeah, we'll go back to when I was born, and then.
Yeah.
No.
What city were you born in?
Right.
What are your parents' names? No.
In the middle of nowhere, town of Ellington. Very few people know. Repping the polar bears. Anyway. Yeah. So I guess we can start with college. I went to college thinking I was going to be an art teacher for high schoolers.
Okay.
And my whole story is basically by accident I got there. And I've heard this, actually Caleb has shared, our original founder has shared this verse. I think it's from Proverbs, where it's you can, essentially in layman's terms, you can make all the plans you want, but the Lord's plans are the ones that will actually happen. And I feel like that's so much of my life I was I'm going to do this. And then it was why don't you go there?
Yeah. It just falls into place
Yeah.
sometimes.
So I thought I was going to college to be a art teacher, and before it even started, I had the very last orientation session of the entire summer, and the chancellor was all right, come down, tell me what's your major, and I'll tell you who you should follow for your tour of the campus. I was I'm going to be an art teacher. And he goes, we got rid of that program 7 years ago. What do you mean? I'm I don't know. I talked to one of your advisors about this. No idea. And so instead of doing what a normal person would do and be well, I guess I'll just get my gen eds and go somewhere else.
Yeah.
I went home with their giant book of majors, and I was what is media studies?
Yeah.
Oh. Like a true entrepreneur. Let me just get distracted.
Yeah.
And I'd never heard of it actually in high school. So I was going down that path, and then I picked up an art major again too. But right before senior year, my husband and I, we went and visited my husband's family in Detroit. And while we were there, we just realized things were not good there. Family-wise, the economy was tanked. The city was actually bankrupt at that time.
Okay, yeah.
Never even knew that was possible.
Yeah.
Ignorant college kid.
Yeah.
Our economy out here was pretty good. And so we're we have good jobs. We can move out there. We can help him.
Uh-huh.
His great-great-grandparents, they call them Big Mom, Big Dad, they were moving into an older folks community. They had owned that home for generations. And so everyone grew up there. And so this was my first introduction into real estate. We said, we can take over the family home.
Oh, okay.
We're we'll go there and finish our degrees and live life. Everything will be great.
Yeah.
And we move out there, and my husband had a contract for helping someone to fix up rehabs, investors from New York who were flipping homes, and that fell apart right away. And so we also had a young 2-month-old at the time.
Okay. Wow.
And so the pressure was on, and we're okay, we gotta
big change.
Figure this out. So I got a job right away.
And that was your first child, 2-month-old?
First child.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
So
yeah,
big
lots
changes.
of things. Lots of things. The whole family was kind of figuring out where they're going to go. Everyone was kind of in that home for the moment. And as we were going to take over payments, and we had no idea what we were doing. We're like,
Yeah.
we're making payments.
We'll just do it. Yeah.
Then the house just becomes ours somehow. And we actually found out that the home was in foreclosure at the time.
Oh, okay.
And so I don't know if it was just
Classic.
age,
Yeah.
or if it was not knowing, or if it was humiliate. You know, like
Yeah.
we don't know exactly what it was, but quickly our plans had to change, and so we were facing the chance of being homeless. Like we
Yeah.
didn't
With
know
a baby.
what to do. Yeah. My
Wow.
husband was interviewing for job after job after job after job and just not getting opportunities. I'm like, well, how is this happening? Like, you had a better resume than me moving out here.
Yeah.
The climate of the economy out there was just very different.
Yeah.
And I won't get into like all of the nitty gritty of like, well, why, opportunity wise, but, so yeah, I ended up getting one job. Our car broke down. That job was like an hour drive, like thing after thing after thing. Ended up getting a decent job, and we bought our first home on land contract.
Okay.
Getting
Wow.
some decent paychecks. We bought our house for, guess what the price was?
Where was it?
It was it was still in Detroit, but
Okay,
like towards
okay.
the Dearborn side.
So, I don't know, 50,000. Is this the number I'll
Oh.
throw at it?
$8,000.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. Yes.
Well, that's a good start.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't think it had a furnace at first. We got that figured out.
if it's got 2x4s, it's worth 8,000 nowadays.
Yeah, I wish I was in a place at that time in my
I mean,
life
you're
where
at
they
like,
kept
I
it.
think nowadays you're at 8,000 just for the shingles on a 1,500 square foot house. It's just the
100%.
cost
Yes.
for like normal shingles, nothing
Yes,
crazy.
Yes. So that neighborhood was at a turning point, we could call it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they had like blight crews and things like that would just like demolish homes if they were bad.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was our very first experience into real estate. And
Okay.
It was like my dream come true. And then
Yeah.
the septic backed into the home because there is roots in the septic, and we're just like paycheck to paycheck
Yeah.
at the time. Like, I don't know how do we live life.
Yeah.
And still had a decent job, and Kevin was still looking, and it was getting really hard on him, like mentally. And I just kept looking around, and we found out we were expecting our second child. And I would look at the schools, and I'm like, the grass isn't even mowed at the schools.
Yeah.
Like the reality was setting in, and I'm like, I love having a home. Like, that's my dream, like the American dream of
Homeownership.
family and a home.
Yeah.
And as I started looking at what's the next steps after that, just didn't feel like the right place for us. So I decided, Kevin finally agreed to move back to the Fox Cities.
Yeah.
And kind of started all over from scratch again. And we started at the bottom. We had like the lowliest of jobs, and we managed our apartments on the weekends. So that was our second foray into real estate, as we learned about apartment management
Yeah.
in order to get free rent, and then worked
Sure.
full-time jobs on top of that. And then throughout this whole time period, I was like, I really loved what I was learning in college. And I was trying to find ways of like, how can I get back toward that creative
Yeah.
marketing type role, like production and all of that. And so I finally stumbled across an opportunity after several. Kind of felt like a job hopper at the time, but it was looking for what's the next best thing for my family. And one time came across this opportunity for a real estate brokerage. The opportunity was actually with a mortgage company, and they were hiring a marketing person to work in a real estate brokerage that was just launching, that I had never heard of. It was called Keller Williams.
Ooh.
Yes. Yep. And that was my in, where I was like, this
Okay.
is my into the
Yeah.
profession I truly, truly want.
Uh-huh.
And I did that for a couple of months, right when we were launching. Like, I remember the day we launched, when Dina was like running through the halls and like, we did it, we
Yeah.
did it. So I was able to help with all of that and see all of that behind the scenes. Like
Yeah.
I was on site. I felt more like
Yeah.
a member of the KW team of the mortgage company. But throughout that role, my job was to like work with real estate agents like yourself
Yeah.
and teach them how to market themselves with a lot of people who are just coming into the industry and had
Yeah.
zero budget. So that was
Yeah.
the thing I mastered, and I learned about that. And I was like, I don't know very much at all about real estate,
Yeah.
so I should attend the classes that this brokerage is teaching. And as I did that, I was like, this is not about real estate. I mean,
Fun side note, Laura made my first logo
on the mark.
ever.
That was your-
Bowman Realty on the mark with a target. The O was a target. I'll try to throw it up on the screen here if I still. I'm pretty sure I have it somewhere.
It's a good thing
But,
I changed career paths.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. You know, I used that for a while until I kind of dissolved Bowman Realty.
Yeah.
Just because when I joined Berkshire, sad face. When I joined Berkshire, it would have been Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Water City Realty, or it would have been
Blah.
Austin Bowman with Bowman Realty with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Water City Realty. Would have been like the whole title.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, that's too much. So let's
Like
just go
whenever
back
you
to Austin
introduce
Bowman.
yourself, people would be like,
Yeah, I don't even know what the acronym would be, but even the acronym is too long. So it's like, no, thank you. But
Yeah.
anyway, yeah, continue. So
and you know we love our acronyms. So
yeah,
real
big
estate.
acronyms.
yeah.
So you were doing logos and kind of learning what Keller Williams was all about and what real estate was all about.
Yeah, so I was bringing my pizzazz to the table. Like I
Yeah.
loved the design piece, and I was stacking that on top of marketing. And but yeah, I'm starting to attend the KW classes, and there's this common phrase that we use, and there's a class about. It's called Business Objective Life by Design, and that phrase "life by design" really stuck with me.
Yeah.
And it really made me think, because I grew up where it's like, be happy what you have. My parents were not happy that I would switch jobs. They were like, get a job and keep it for the
Work
rest of
in
your
that
life.
factory for the next 40 years.
Yeah, they'll treat you
But
good.
you get a pension.
And I watched, my parents, and I'm like, I think you deserve better. And I was like, what do I want for my life? Like,
I mean,
there's
I
other
think that's a
paths.
huge like norm for that generation. Like even my parents are like probably at the younger end of that generation, but it's the same thing. Like both my grandpas like just worked and at like whatever they could get, and then they stuck there. I think one of them was Briggs and Stratton, like in Milwaukee, and the other one worked at like a Chrysler factory. So like
Yeah.
just classic traditional like Milwaukee city jobs, and just worked there for a long time until they got their pension. And it's like, I've always been on the side of like, that's just really boring. Like I worked in like in college and stuff. I did a few like at like school specialty for a few months, and then I was like, I can't. Like the shift was like 10:30 to 8:30 or something like that. And just literally had no life, because you're in college, so like you're not doing anything before 10:30.
Yeah.
And then like none of your friends are like going out for coffee. And then it's in Appleton, and I lived in Oshkosh, so it was like 8:30, or I lived in Neenah. 8:30, by the time you get home and showered, it's 9:30. So you're not doing anything at night either. So it's like you just woke up and did your shift and then went to bed. And so when I was, 19, I was like, nope. I was like, I'm not doing that. And so I ended up doing kind of odds end stuff because of that. Like I think that's kind of popular in my generation and our generation. Like the millennials is basically kind of changing that stereotype.
Right.
And now it's even being changed more. Like there's so many options for like, I don't know how to phrase it, but like the cheesy one would be entrepreneurship, like
Yeah.
doing, what you want to do and figuring out how to make that work,
Yep.
Whereas before it was just, much more brick and mortar, like head down and just work until
Yeah.
you retire.
you could support a family off of the entry-level wages. And I think the biggest thing that we can learn from that generation that I've taken into what I do is the work ethic that they have. Where
Absolutely.
like there's that story about the guy who was mopping floors, and he told somebody, I'm putting a man on the moon. He was working for NASA, but he was the maintenance guy. And like, that's the stance I've always taken with it is whatever role I have, I'm going to work my tail off. I'm going to work as hard as or harder than the owner of the company. And in return, I ask for opportunity when it's available.
Yeah.
And I think that's a fair way to show up.
Yeah. Well, I think it's, yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you can bring, I think the best combination of people who are, well, I'll rephrase this. One of the aspects of people who are successful in the term entrepreneurship, which is, I think, just figuring out your own path and figuring out how to pay for the life you want, life by design, is the people who do what they're wanting to do, but they treat it like a factory job almost. Like you treat it like you're clocking in, like I'm working. The people who struggle in real estate to me, or like the people who are in and out, because they don't view it like I have to go to work.
Yeah.
You know, they kind of fly by the seat of their pants, and, you know, like instead of buckling down, and like I struggle with this too, because you have all the freedom in the world. I struggle with this, especially the first 5 years of my career, is it's like you're at home, and if you're not forcing yourself into the office or forcing yourself out to go meet people or find new business, it's real easy to stay home and play a video game because nobody will call. Yeah. Nobody's going to call unless you pay for them to keep you accountable, or unless you just have somebody in your life like that. Like, nobody's going to call and say, what did you do today? Did you accomplish your goals? And why didn't you? Nobody's going to question you unless you put that into place. Yeah. Unless you treat that like a job. And I think that's huge, is like going back to what you said, their work ethic. If we can learn that and then put it in the new modern ways to make money, to make impact, to have a career and a life by design, that really helps that. Because I think a lot of people just walk in and they're like, well, I'll just become a real estate agent. That's like,
you got to put the work in.
I watched HGTV. Yeah. But it's like the people who show up and are working hard at it are the ones who are successful. If you treat it like a full-time job. When
you start a company in entrepreneurship land, or you start as a real estate agent, you're still your own company, and people forget that it's a company of one, and you have to hire yourself for a job. Like, you still get a job when you're a small business owner. Yeah. You're self-employed.
Well, I mean, and it goes back to, this is why I think, you know, this is why I'm at Keller Williams, and I think Keller Williams is a good fit for most people, is that Keller Williams is geared around giving you the tools to have your own business. A lot of real estate brokerages aren't really giving you it's more about the brokerage than about the agent. They're not giving you the tools to create your own business, your own, where entrepreneurs thrive. Right. They're not trying to prop you up in that way. So Keller Williams is like intentionally giving you the training and the tools so that when you show up to your full-time job, you have the ability to actually do it. Yeah. Whereas a lot of offices are you just go in there and figure it out. Yeah. And I think that's the story of most people. And I mean, if you don't take advantage of the Keller Williams tools, that's what KW will be to you as well if you don't show up. You always have to show up, right? But I always just like the fact that the tools and the support and the camaraderie and the coaching is there to back you up, you know. Otherwise, nobody's going to call you to find out what you did today.
And I think it's the biggest piece that's had the most impact on me, where I've said in our video of, you know, it's not just about a real estate company. It's about becoming a better person and getting your master's degree in life or whatever. It's 10% of what we teach is running a really, really great, strong business, and then showing up to also the curriculum where it's how to live a better life. Like, we're doing this for not just to create money. Like, what are we going to do with that money, and how are we going to show up in people's lives? And that was the piece that really stood out to me about Keller Williams, because I had been with so many companies, and then all of a sudden we're hearing like life by design and things that I'm taking home and I'm bringing to my son, who is kind of like going through culture shock after moving back from Detroit and lost all of his confidence. And we're doing positive affirmations in the morning before daycare drop off, and I'm seeing changes in him. And I'm like, if a company can do that for my kid, by teaching me these things, like, that's a special place.
Yeah. When if you talk to almost anybody who switches here from a brokerage, successful, like super successful agent or not, the theme is pretty much the same. Like, you go talk to Amanda Furman, you go talk to Valerie, and get their opinion of the difference. And I'm not going to name brokerage names, but like, if you ask them how it was where they were and the difference it is to where they are now, they're going to say the same thing. Like, the amount of effort put into them individually is totally different. The culture is totally different.
Yeah.
And I think that's huge, you know, and it spreads not only to you as the agent, but the whole, everything that's in your life. Like you were saying, like your family, like if you take these principles and use them personally and also put them into your family, into your, you know, your other relationships outside of work, they're going to do the same impact, you know. I think that's a huge thing that people also think about. You spend a lot of time where you're working, you know, so if that's a positive environment, it's going to trickle into the rest of your life. If it's a negative environment, it's going to trickle into the rest of your life.
100%.
You know, when I was a corrections officer, my wife could tell the difference, because when you're in that, you can't be personal with inmates.
Yeah.
Like, you can't be buddy and be like joking around with them. Like, that won't work, you know? And so like, you have to just not be yourself all day in a pretty negative environment, you know, prison. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of negativity even among all the officers. And you're just in that for 16-hour shifts all week.
Right.
And then you just have to come home and you have 4 hours maybe, and then you have to go to bed and do it again. And switching that off is very difficult.
Yeah. It's hard to turn off authentic me to work me and then go back home and not have there be some intermingling of the two.
Yeah.
Like, you want to be able to show up authentically everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Especially for, like, I couldn't imagine coming home from that now and trying to pour into Teddy or my wife, you know, and even like doing that and being an attentive, like, spouse and husband takes effort as is, especially when you're drained from a long day, like both of you could be. And, but doing that on top of a, you know, negative or stressful work environment would be all the harder, you know? And so, you know, one of the reasons I'm here is because of those things and because of the culture and the people. Yeah. But, so after that, so from being kind of the marketing and working for you, did you say mortgage company?
Yeah.
Yeah. What was well, you don't have to say the name, but.
To not be named. They don't exist
to not
anymore.
be named. Oh, okay. Well, that's good. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
okay. So
It was
coming
an
from a
interesting
mortgage
concept.
company. Yeah. So coming from a mortgage lender company and doing the marketing there, how did you transition into being, like, you know, top dog like you are now?
That's funny.
Nice.
Still at the bottom.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, so I was with that company for quite a while, and I was just loving everything about KW, but there's just things that were off with the mortgage company. And
hence them not being around anymore. No comment.
I do not know the details. Just for me, it wasn't a fit.
Yeah.
And it wasn't in alignment with what KW was doing and where they were growing. And so it felt misaligned. And the whole purpose of that role that I was doing was supposed to be, you know, like creating relationships and then being able to refer business to my lender that I was working with. I'm like, well, if the main thing your business doesn't work how it's supposed to work, marketing is kind of like, why
is the business really going to work
I
at
want
all?
a good product.
Yeah.
And so I went into a role for project management in a design printing place. I did that for a while, but while I was doing that, I was moonlighting, doing design projects on my lunch break and at night for agents still, and I was just loving it.
Yeah.
And like, I made such great relationships with the realtors that were at KW, and like, they were such a big part of my life. I remember one of my first big logo designs was with Carolyn Stark. And
oh, really? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
And she paid me double what I asked for.
Oh, wow.
And that stuck with me. And she's like, oh, you deserve it. That's what you should be asking for. And I'm like,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
And just kept in touch with everyone. And before I even completely left the mortgage company, the leadership team was like, how do we get you to work for us? Like,
Yeah.
can you just stay
Don't
here?
leave.
We'll create a job for you. Like, it didn't work at the time, but we stayed in communication. And for the whole year and a half that I was with that other company, and eventually we figured it out. And they're like, here's how we can make it work for you. You're going to do kind of what you were doing before, and you're going to teach our tech, and you'll be working for the Appleton Market Center and the Green Bay Market Center. So I came on as our director of tech and innovation, and I brought my marketing pizzazz along with me.
Yeah.
And it was kind of doing the same thing, but a little bit more with KW's technology.
Sure.
And loved it again, and soaked up all the opportunities that I could for anything education. Like, I wanted to be at all of it. So I wanted to perform really well so that I had the opportunity to attend those things and grow, and started playing more of a pivotal role in the leadership team. And then at one point, Caleb, who's the owner and founder, he is very visionary and always wants to be growing, like entrepreneurial, very much so. And so he kind of was like, I got the KW thing figured out. I want to do this and this and this and this. And so I think the first project we worked on together was launching a private investment fund for realtors to invest into other market centers and other companies and things like that. And so we did that first project together, and I loved it. Like, that's my favorite kind of work.
Yeah.
And it worked out really well. And then he was like, I want to launch a new title company. Can you help me with that?
Yeah.
And just like different things like that. And I really enjoyed that kind of work because I'm very analytical and very creative. So I could help with the systems and with, and I could make it look pretty.
Yeah.
And so I started doing more of that. And then one day he announced to our leadership team, he said, okay, we have 2 market centers right now. I want to grow to 10. And like half the team fell out of their chairs. They're like, oh, incomprehensible. Like, what does that mean for me? And I sat there for a minute and I'm like, oh, yeah, I know you can do that. Like branding, marketing, communication plan. Like, absolutely. I see how you could do that. And so I somehow started helping work with that. And in the process, we created this umbrella company called CHE. And that was over all of the different, I think we had like 12 or 13 real estate companies of different sorts at that time.
Okay.
And we got to 6 market centers that Caleb was either an operating principal or investor in within a year.
Okay.
So through video like you're doing, and teaching, like we just really laid into what are his expertises and what would make someone want to give him the opportunity to buy another brokerage.
Yeah.
So we did that, grew really fast. We were in Wisconsin, Upper Michigan, we were in Minnesota, and Montana was.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so going from small scale hyper-local to really, really big, like operations have to change. And so all of a sudden I found myself going from marketing and communications to, we need help with all the things. We need help leading the leaders. We need help. What do we talk to them about? What do we teach them? How do we get everyone on the same page? And so I started in the back scenes kind of being like organizing everything. Being like, here's what we could talk about. Here's what we put in the agenda. Well, why don't we put let's work together and do a leadership development day, and here's things we could talk about that I could bring knowledge to, and then collaborating more on that level. And at some point, I found myself helping to lead the leadership team meetings for the market centers. I really loved it, and I learned inside and out what was, when people were working with Keller Williams' model, it was working, and when they weren't, it wasn't working. So I was figuring that out and kind of just analyzing that just from the different...
Seeing it for yourself.
Yeah, we had a lot of different places to look at that from. And so things were going pretty well, and then COVID hit, and all the things just started going crazy and unexpected. And so we navigated through all of that. And then my kids were asking for a baby brother. We compromised, got them a dog, and then found out they were also getting a baby brother. So
there we go.
I went on maternity leave for 3 months, which was lovely, glorious, and I hope every
and not long enough.
Oh, I love working, so somewhat painful too. And during that time was when we had like the big blow up in Appleton, where 2 different brokerages launched out of out of there.
Yep.
And it was because we just didn't have, real estate is such a hyper local place, and people want the leader there, and they want strong leadership locally. And we were just in kind of a place where we had not landed on that right match yet. And so that happened while I was on maternity leave. I think I deleted Facebook off of my phone for a while, because I was like, I'm right here, but I can't do anything because I'm technically not working right now.
Yeah.
And it just broke my heart, because I was like, that place, I grew up there. Like, that created me into who I am and how I parent my children. Like,
well, that's exactly how it was for me, kind of, because I, like 2016, I joined real estate in October 2015. So coming up on 10 years. And
I'm an OG now.
Yeah. And then, but I joined Keller Williams. I became Keller Williams in January 2016. So like right after I joined, I hadn't even had a sale yet. And, you guys merged with Kevin Pertell, and that's how I became KW. And I just remember walking into the office, and it was just such a different thing. And that was across the street in the old office.
Yep.
And that's like the first time I met you guys, and like Hope Graff was there, and all these people that I still know now.
Yeah.
But it was just the attitude of the office was so different. I was like, oh, this is what it can be.
Yeah.
And, it was just a really cool experience. Like the vibes in the office were so different. And,
special.
it was just like a special, like innovative time. And I remember that, like, even when I was at a different brokerage, I was saying, I want to make this what that was. And so to see it not be that when I came back because I left to corrections for a year, and then came back to Keller Williams right away. And when I came back, it was during that time, and it just wasn't the same. I know we've talked about that, but the leader at the time, like, hired me back I signed the paperwork on a Friday. That Monday, that person left. And I'm like, what? Like, I just got back, got to know you, and boom, gone. So it was like during that just bad timing. And it was hard to see a lot of the people I knew leaving or gone. And that ultimately is why I'm a people person. I want to be somewhere where I know, and where I know the people, and I have rapport. I have, at the time, people I could call if I had questions. Now it's kind of rare that I have a big question. Like it's a lot of like little questions sometimes. Like, hey, with this new, with FHA, is it technically this way or not? Because you just didn't run into it before. But yeah, that was kind of heartbreaking to see myself as well, and seeing what it was and what it could be, kind of go through that lull. And but yeah, then you came back.
Yeah, so it was, and the timeline kind of gets fuzzy for me because it was a lot in a short period of time. So came back from maternity leave. We had hired like a general manager, and this was like becoming this big structure over all of the companies, because you obviously need some type of way to tie them all together.
Yeah.
And the general manager had a lot of experience in commercial, and was going to bring that into residential, which is kind of an innovative, cool thing that could work out potentially. And I was kind of like figuring out what the heck is my role. Like, people would be like, what do you do? I'm like, whatever needs to be done. I don't know.
KW multi-tool.
My job is to make other people look good, is kind of what I would say.
Yeah.
And so we were figuring all of that out. And as we had hired a replacement in Appleton, I was like, I really want to see Appleton thrive. Like, it's killing me. I'm like, I'll do whatever I can do. Like, I'll coach that leader. Like, I'll do whatever needs to be done. And and we were doing that for quite a few months. And people are like, how's it going? What do we need to do there? And I'm like, it's just not. It's not the fit, and it's not fair to either the market center or that person.
Yeah.
And so they're like, what do we do? I'm like, I don't know. They're like, who do we find? And I'm like, I don't know. HR hire.
Yeah, HR.
And finally, I think I whispered it. I was like, I remember Diana Kokoska saying one time, she was the person who created MAPS coaching for KW, and she said, if it's meant to be, then why not me? And that was like in the back of my head, just like banging me on the back of the head by that point. Like, come on, just say something.
Knock, knock.
I was like, I don't know. I could like maybe do I was probably that quiet. I was like, oh, maybe I could do like interim team leader. What do you guys look for someone? Like you need someone there?
Somebody there. Yeah.
And they're like, yes. I'm like, oh,
like,
wait, who said that?
Oh, wait, am I going to regret this?
Yeah. Like, oh, what did I just do? But I knew, like, I had gotten in the habit of like stepping into fear and just doing new things just because that's what you do when you're at KW. And so that happened. And then, how did it even progress? I'm trying to think. It was so fast, like speed of light. I said I would come in, but I would need full autonomy to do whatever I have to do. Yeah. And I would come in as team leader. They're like, yeah, you should just be full team leader. Let's just do that. Let's just plan on that. I'm like, okay.
Instead of leading by committee, it's let somebody take the head and run with it.
I'm like, I need full autonomy, and I'll do it. And they're like, sold.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And so we were transitioning in, and the kind of like the umbrella company was stating like, okay, just do this and do that, and then do whatever else you want after that. And I'm like, I don't agree with those two things. Like, do you want to see us die overnight, or do we want to prolong? Like, I think that's like an overnight move, and I don't agree with that. I don't think it's the right thing to do, and maybe I should just tap out completely. And then I was like, what am I doing again?
Yeah.
Like, what do I do if I'm not KW? What do I do what do I do if KW in Appleton doesn't exist? And it was like freak out mode. Like, marketing?
Yeah.
Do I do marketing? Oh, I don't know. And so I was thinking about going in that direction. And at the time, Caleb was on vacation. Great timing. And then he came back and was like, okay, so what actually happened? I'm like, nothing. Like, I don't know. I had made a decision. I was just going to try to find out my direction in life. And I was completely lost. I had no idea. But I was like, it's best, whatever's best for my family. And finally, I'm like, those weren't the right moves. And it's like, oh, okay, well, why don't you just become part owner? We'll take off the umbrella company completely, and then you can do whatever you want to do. And I was like, yeah. And then also, like, how do I buy a company? I'm like, I don't know. I'm not the realtor. I don't have the money.
Yeah.
But we figured it out. And so I think the next week I came in, made an announcement. I think I had to write an announcement about myself coming from the team.
Yeah.
And then reached out to everybody one by one and just like, hey, what needs to happen here? Made the moves that needed to actually happen instantly. And then it was just a matter of outreach with everyone on the team of like, here's what I know KW can do. We're not delivering on that right now, and it breaks my heart. And I think that I understand why people left, because we were not true to the model at the time.
Well, that is the thing with real estate. It's like one of the hard things is, even if at the core a brokerage has the tools and the intent to do something, even if the hearts are good, if the value isn't there, people are going to leave, and arguably rightly so. Like, because, I mean, not naming names again, but that's why I've left places, is because it doesn't have to, nobody did anything. Nobody's heart was in the wrong place. No, like, scandal happened or anything wrong. It's just, am I being supported? Am I getting value for my business? Because I have to think about that, because that's my family's lifeline. So if that's not happening, at the end of the day, what am I paying for? What am I paying to be a part of? And so that's, again, like, I knew that was here. And there was a period where I didn't know if it was, or I wasn't using it properly, but that I could tell immediately. Like, we had coffee. First time we had coffee since you came back was probably 2 years ago, 3 years ago now, maybe. And I could already tell, like, that first time getting coffee, I remember. Tempest. And I was like, oh, I sense it coming back. And I'm like, that's where I want to be. But, I wanted to be respectful and show some loyalty and stuff, and give it some time for other opportunity. And That didn't end up working out. But it's it's so true that, like back to what you were saying, that those things have to be actually in place for those agents. And even if the heart and the intent is behind it, it still doesn't mean it's there.
Well said.
And I think because I think majority of people in leadership at I'll say majority because not all, but majority of leadership out there at brokerages want the best for their people, but that doesn't mean it's actually happening,
Yeah, it's the very same on a small scale. A realtor coming into the business, and Gary Keller wrote MREA. If you want to run a business that nets $1 million, just follow the model. And if you want to run a successful franchise brokerage, follow the model. We want to get entrepreneurial and get creative before we actually are following the model.
Well, I think that's part of why you see so much rotation is everybody can sit down and get coffee and tell you why their company is great and tell you what their heart is. Those are things that are easy to say. It's kind of like words are easy, actions are hard.
Yeah.
Like what are the actual actions? What are the actual tools they're giving you? That's why a lot of new agents will change around a lot, go to a new place because it looks shiny or, the grass looks greener on the other side, all these cliche terms. But the question is it actually greener on the other side? Is the grass per se being taken care of? Is it being mowed physically? Yeah. Because it can look nice. Everything can I could make something look really nice in 10 minutes on Canva. It doesn't mean it is, and things can be deceiving and the heart behind it could be good, but are the actions and tools actually in place? Are the trainings in place? That's one of the things I've shown people that I've gotten coffee with. And I'm like, I don't even know the calendar for this week for KW, but I guarantee you there's probably at least 3 trainings on it. And let's look. Oh, there it is. I'm like, and I'm like, that right there doesn't exist at a lot of brokerages. It's like you cannot just pull up a calendar and be like, I don't know what's happening this week, but I guarantee you there's some trainings, because it's Monday and I haven't looked yet. And I'm just showing you that's how much there's always something that you can get if you show up, and anyway, back to what you were saying.
Yeah. So one of the leaders that I love in our organization from a different market center, Charlie Stelly, always says, the world is run by those who show up. And that's exactly.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
If you want a different class, show up.
And people know who do and who don't, and it's a big part of business. It's being able to show up. However, and it doesn't always have to be the same way, back to shout out to Dina Mitchell, which I was messaging her. Dina, still want to get coffee. but it was when I was on Caleb Hayes' team for a whole 2 months.
Hot second there.
Yeah, and she pulled me aside, and I've referenced this before on this podcast, but I'll reference it again because it makes sense. She pulled me inside and said, Austin, it's really good to see you in the office so much, but I don't want to see you here too much. And I'm like, I'll never forget that. And I'm like, that was perfectly said. And in her mama bear intimidating way, you know how it is. And perfect amount of intimidation.
Yeah.
To be to check you a little bit and say, don't let this just be the backfall of making you think that you're working.
Exactly.
Show up here and get stuff done, but then you also have to leave here to go make money.
Yep.
You can't just be in the office all the time.
Yep. Yeah. Caleb's saying was always education without implementation is just entertainment.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's
a professional learner.
Yeah. And again, you'll get all the tools, you'll show up for all the training, but if you don't go use them, if you don't go door knocking, if you don't make your calls, if you don't communicate and message your people, if you don't do your social media posts, I could have this podcast set up, but if I don't schedule a time with you and get somebody in here and do the prep work and do the editing, it's not going to happen. I could have all the gadgets, all the tools. It doesn't matter. It's the same thing same rule with anything. So, yeah, I think that's huge, but shout out Dina.
Yep,
so the original mama bear of KW Fox Cities.
For sure. Yeah. Standing on the shoulders of giants, for sure.
Well, and I think I think you've taken that place well. Just personally from me to you, I think you're the mama bear of KW also. And, I think that's important for people to feel, when people backlash us on social media per se, sometimes, no comment. But if that happens, that there's somebody that will defend and be like, hold up, we didn't attack you, but Mama Bear's here.
Right.
I think that's important,
In a
you know,
kind
like,
and loving way.
well, there's always a place to be respectful, but agents knowing that their leader is, if need be, willing to stand up and be like, no, is important. And I think having a weak backbone in business, especially from a leader, is not helpful. And, you know, so having a strong backbone there is awesome. I think you are great at that, being the loving, caring leader, but then also being like, well, I'm also going to stand on this and I'm not moving. And I think that's important. So
Yeah, thank you.
agents having that feeling. So, yeah.
And I think coming into this role, like I had a lot of imposter syndrome, because I was not like either of the team leaders or OP before me. Like that
Sure.
was a huge thing to overcome. But I think our company was in a place where we needed different leadership, and I just didn't personally identify that. Like,
Yeah.
but through time, our team here, like all of our agents and people who own their own brokerages that are part of our brokerage, have been the ones who are like, no, this is the kind of leadership we need right now. We need some calm and stability. And it's like, oh, that is me. Oh, thank goodness.
Well, and it's clearly worked, you know, like we're growing like crazy. So, I mean, it's clearly worked. And, you know, I'm excited to be here. So, but I know, you know, there's always changes with a brokerage and agents coming and going. But I think for the majority, like the culture is pretty awesome. So, but yeah. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
Yeah, well, the culture piece is important. I think that's something that we want to create stability around, because people want to, I used to always think people need a safe place. And sometimes their home isn't even their safe place. Like sometimes work is their safe place. And if we can create a place that people can know consistently is going to show up the same, and they're not going to get badgered for just showing up in a way that they thought was okay, you know, like loved on and supported on and guided in the right direction consistently, and that there's values that we're consistent with, and we're not just bowing down on our values to bring on a producer, but they know that we're going to stand our ground and we're going to set expectations for people who come on board, that they're also going to take the high road and they're going to be professionals, and that I think creates a cool environment.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's been good. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. If you want anybody to reach out to you, how would you prefer that they do so?
Google me. I'm just kidding. I've always wanted to say that. You can email me. That's probably the easiest way, which is Laura, Laura, Thompson, Thompson, @kw.com.
Yeah. Well, and then if you have any other questions about me or Laura or for us, you can reach out to me anytime too on this channel. So,
well, this is fun, and your logo is amazing. I
thank
do
you.
have much appreciation for it.
A new ad. Yeah. Well, thank you very much. Yeah. Well, everybody, thanks for watching, and you have a good rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Big Talks podcast, where vision meets action and stories build legacy. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who's chasing something bigger. Until next time, keep talking big.